What's in a name? Apparently, a lot of comedy if you actually speak the language and understand where they come from. Even if you have a vague idea of where they came from, you know that these were entirely made up or just off. I get it. There was a time when people writing comic books and tried to write diverse casts without having the information instantly at their fingertips and had to either hire a person or go to a library and try to approximate this. I mean, not everyone can learn a language with a snap of their fingers. No one can learn a language with the snap of their fingers. Who am I kidding? And since Craven is getting a movie, I thought he would be the first shot right here, because the word Craven is actually a word. It means cowardly. Craven the Hunter's name means Cowardly the Hunter, or Coward the Hunter. That's funny. Now let's get into the X-Men. Karma. Her name is Shankoi Mun. Okay, Mun I can deal with not being a Vietnamese surname because it's a legitimate Vietnamese word that does belong to a superhero, mainly because it means strong or forceful. Everything else pretty much sucks. Shan is not a Vietnamese name. It's not even a Vietnamese word. It's Chinese, and is specifically a Chinese city that's very famous. I guess the middle name, Goi, could actually be a play on Goi, which means to watch, as in Goi Phim meaning watch movie, which for an illusion maker, I think that actually might work. So you got one that is completely off, one that is misspelled, but well, I can sorta see the merit in it, and one that I do legitimately see the merit in giving to a superhero. Eventually, it got retconned to Xuan Dao Man. I know I'm not pronouncing that right because my brain is not in pronounced Vietnamese mode. This, okay, works because I've seen all two of these. Mun is still, strong or forceful. Be used in actual names. The next one we have is Apocalypse himself. His name is En Sabah Nur, which is Arabic. And 6,000 years ago, when Apocalypse was young, Arabic would not have been spoken in Egypt. Then again, it wouldn't have been spoken at all. The ancestors of the Semitic languages we know today probably would have been the things spoken. No languages are unchanging. At best, we're getting the grandparents of said language. But then again, we can get into this conversation about when does a language completely evolve into a new language. Because initially, I had wanted Coptic to be his name. Well, I wanted his name to be in Coptic, but we're going to run into the same problems. Either way, I've been told by Arabic speakers that En Sabah Nur means good morning or just morning light, with Nur being a legitimate name for girls among Arabic speakers and languages that derive a lot of their vocabulary from Arabic. When people chanted his name in Arabic in X-Men Apocalypse, it sounded really awkward to me, but, well, that's because these are native Arabic speakers doing the chanting, and it's really awkward in Arabic. Just say that En Sabah Nur could have just been an Arabized form of an ancient language long extinct, and, well, that works and solves all the problems with this name. The next one we have is Sunfire. Not the famous Sunfire, the other Sunfire, the one with a Y. This is Leiyu Yoshida, and it sounds really strange because Leiyu does not sound mildly Japanese. My first guess is what they did with Karma and used the Chinese mythology since Liu is a Chinese name. Seriously, it can refer to an Asian carp, or it can be the personal name of multiple emperors and other royalty and officials. Really, they could have just named her Ray, since Ray sounds like Ray, as in, sun rays, and she does have the ability of fire and light, so, that works out. And this is for mostly an English-speaking audience, so you don't even need to use the Japanese characters in it. Quicksilver. Pietro Maximoff is weird. You see, him and Wanda are from a fictional Eastern European country, and that leaves a lot of deniability for weird name changes. In terms of last name, Maximov is a perfectly legitimate Russian or Ukrainian surname. And Wanda's name is actually Polish, which is Eastern European, and I'm sure I'm going to get a bunch of angry comments about that by calling Poland Eastern Europe. Pietro, however, is the odd name out, because it's not remotely Slavic or Eastern European, it's actually Italian for Peter. Would have gone with this, although this could get him confused with Colossus, or use Czech, which is Peter, or Petra, which is Ukrainian. Hamato Yoshi. Yeah, I've never heard the name Hamato at all, and the internet always goes back to Splinter or the guy who owned Splinter, depending on which continuity you're getting through. Then there is Tang Shen. Tang Shen is a Chinese name. Then again, the 2012 series made her actually have some Chinese heritage, so this is fine. Uruku Saki. Saki is actually a Japanese name, though it is traditionally a girl's name. So what's the lesson here? Research names before giving it to characters. Don't make it hilarious or cringy for native speakers. Maybe when native speakers end up coming up, because they will eventually end up working for these companies, but they'll retcon the name just so they don't have to cringe off pounds. Do you make it hilarious for native speakers to say when it gets adapted into movies? Because I certainly hope you wouldn't. Honestly, I think the goal at the end of the day was to make these characters the first thing people see when you search them into Google. And if that was the intent, then congratulations, you succeeded. Whether this is good or bad is not for me to decide, I just wanted to be snarky for a few minutes. Please consider liking, subscribing, tipping the channel on Ko-fi. This is Cyril signing off.